Okay, so to start, in our previous video, we installed Kubernetes. In this one, we're going to show how to get internet access to your cluster and a few different deployments. Okay, so here we can see Kube system, got our servers, or services. Cool. Let's go and draw this out real quick. If I can stop pushing buttons. There we go. Okay, so here's master. Worker 1, worker 2. And just to keep this simple, Kate's. Okay, cool. So, internet. Okay, so from the internet, we're going to hit our router, right? And then from here, we're going to hit, you need a load balancer, right? Cloud services like AWS, Azure, Google, they all have their load balancers. Kubernetes requires it. So since we're on bare metal, we don't have that option. We are going to use Metallb. Okay, and then from there, we need an ingress. Yeah, we are going to use Traefik v2. What this allows us to do is send HTTP, HTTPS requests, and the ingress will consume that and send it to the correct node that has our deployment. If you do have switches and all that, just make sure your switches are configured to route those VLANs. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, so let's start with Metallb. The container toolkit does have all this updated, so just go in there, grab those files, you'll be fine. Okay, so let's cat our notes. I would use the, well, two things. Use the documentation on Metallb's website. Download this file before you just blindly accept it. I'm just going to do this because it's a lab. I'm going to blow it out. But yeah, download it, read it, make sure the YAML's not installing something it shouldn't. Okay. Okay, cool. So if we get pods, we can see these are being built. Cool. We won't get our load balancer until we configure something to use a router. In this case, Traefik will deploy the load balancer, so we'll move on to that once we give Metallb a bucket of IPs. So if we just cat layer 2, we can see I'm going to give it 10 IPs. Okay, cool. And all that's running. Cool. All right, let's go over to Traefik. Actually, let's use the repo for this. So we're going to go README should have everything. So I do give you a snippet. Basically, the difference in here is you need a service that'll give you a cluster IP, right? You need the ingress to route to that service right there. And then now the new thing I noticed was ingress routes. So it'll give you different options to how you want to, I guess, route the HTTP requests. There are a number of them, so yeah, definitely look at their documentation for this. Okay, cool. So let's kick this off. Okay, here it is. Oh, I don't have Helm installed. Oh, okay, cool. So let's use our script for that, right? Ubuntu container, and we're going to use Helm 3. Give that a second. Cool. All right. Okay, cool. So now the Helm chart's there. Helm repo update. Alright, cool. So back in here, let's see, create. Alright, so pretty straightforward. Create the namespace. And then let's install Traefik. Cool. Let's take a look at our pods. And as you can see, now we've got an IP for our load balancer. So if we go to that, 404, page not found. Cool, it works. Okay, so let's try deploying a few things here. So first thing I recommend is Cert Manager. Cert Manager is a service or deployment that's going to manage your certificates. You'll want to try the staging first and then move on to production so you don't accidentally get yourself booted, because they do add rate limiting and they block IPs after X amount of screw-ups. So always try staging first. Once that's proven to work, then move on. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, cool. Let's back up here. Okay, so we have our Cert Manager in here. Alright, so again, all these are in that GitHub repo, just copy paste, right? There's that one. Let's update. Okay, and here's what I'm using. This has worked for me, so I'm going this route. Obviously, as things start releasing, we'll move on. Okay. And we'll give that a second. Oof, that is taking its time. Alright, cool. So it looks like everything worked out. Let's go and check our pods. Everything's there. Get services. Cool. Now you need cluster issuers. I'd like to think of these as basically it's a front end for your website to communicate with the certificate authority for Let's Encrypt. So let's go ahead and deploy a few of those. Self-signed, I mean, this is the easiest one, right? It's basically self-signed certificate. If you have access to the internet, use something signed, right? So actually, let's check our notes, make sure these don't need updating. Nope, all right. Okay, there's one. There's our staging, and now we need production. Cool. And then we can just check this through a cluster issuer. Cool. They're all ready to go. Okay. Now that we know that's ready to go, let's try deploying something. In this case, I'm actually going to deploy a Docker registry. I'm not going to show you the YAML because there's secrets in there I don't really want shared. Okay. Actually, let's just go here. Okay. I gotta be careful with this. Let's tail this by like, start with 10. Okay, a lot more than that. Ingress, okay. There we go. Damn, that was perfect. So yeah, here's our service, right? Port 5000. In this case, we're using the ingress, and we want to label Traefik. I like to, well, basically this just says the Cert Manager we're going to use, set true, and we're going to use, wow, I guess I'm just jumping straight into prod here. Let's do this. Yeah, I really don't want to show these secrets. Hang on. Let me update this to staging. One moment. And we're back. Okay, cool. So let's encrypt staging right there. Get cluster issuers. Staging right there. Cool. Let's go ahead and apply it. Let's do staging. And I'm going to show you the services. Cert Manager, webhook. As you can see, we have this guy trying to apply it all, or verify our cert, right? Service, let's check. Challenge, order, and certificates. Oh wow, that was fast. So, supposedly it's true. Let's check it. Okay. Okay, so we check the certificate. Hey, there's our domain. Staging. Cool. So, let's go ahead and swap this to prod. Full deployment. Check the challenges. You can see it's pending. Get pods. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, it's still running. Okay. And this can take a minute. You can describe the pod, or at least look at the logs and see what's going on with it. But as you can see, it just went valid. So if we go back here and we hard refresh, Chrome's going to screw with us and tell us no. So what we're going to do is close this down. Pull incognito. Hey, look at that. We're good. Now I'm going to mention your router. You need to open up 80.443 and then set up your firewall policy to allow 443 and 80. If the internet cannot reach back to this cluster, Cert Manager is going to fail. It needs to complete the challenge. In this case, we're using the HTTP challenge, so basically it sets up on the Cert Manager pod, it'll say, hey, this file exists, because the Let's Encrypt certificate authority, however it works over there, Acme, right? It's saying, hey, tell me you got this. And when they go do a curl or a get or whatever they do, it's not there, then your certificate won't be signed. So that's basically how that works. That is Ingress. You can also run other services too. So I guess there's a few things we could show here. With Traefik, you get a dashboard, right? It's hidden, so you have to port forward. So I've actually got a list here to get that going. Let's go ahead and do this one. Not found. Pods. Oh, that's right, because I'm in the wrong namespace. We have to update this. Okay, as you can see, that works. Let's throw that in the background now. Okay. And now we've got that set up. So what I just did here was I opened up the port from the cluster and exposed it to the host internally on port 9000. I can't get to here because I'm not on that host. So what I have to do is forward that port to my local machine, which I just did right here through SSH. So now it's in plain text, but it's encrypted over RSA using encrypted over SSH using RSA. So if we go back here, go to Traefik, refresh, this is the dashboard you get. And then you can go through here and see like registries now, TLS. There are other things in this container toolkit that I did automate or grab for you. Prometheus, Grafana, if you're interested in performance, things like that. As far as the deployment, it's not too bad. Doesn't screw up the host that bad. I'm running only like 4 gigs of RAM. It might have been upgraded to 8 when I was testing something else and completely screwed it up. But I'll just show you what that looks like. Okay, that's still running. And let's go over to Prometheus and Grafana. And this should be pretty straightforward. It's literally copy and paste. Okay. You will need to add this service so it'll route through Traefik. You could do the whole port forwarding thing as well, but in this case, we're going to use Traefik. I'm going to warn you though, the TLS is not updated, so you'll have to figure that out on your own. But as you can tell with the registry part, it's a matter of just copy paste, right? Okay, so let's back up. Clone this guy in. Give this a second to clone. Service should already be there, so we just need to copy this bottom part. Okay, that took longer than expected, but here we are. Okay. I have no clue what just happened. Oh, okay, I see. We need to go up here. Manifests. On a service. There we go. Okay, so we just copy and paste the ingress and the ingress route. Okay, so now we're going to create. Need to run the setup, so let's redo that. And then the rest of it. This might take a bit to load up depending on how much RAM you've got. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay, cool. In that services file, I don't know if you noticed, but we're using a fake domain. So just make sure that's thrown onto your Etsy hosts file, and it will, let's see, show up in your browser. Okay. This too will take a minute, but once we've got this up and running, I'll start to deploy some applications like Jenkins where they're misconfigured and allow access to the host, and we'll show how to break it using like a C2 infrastructure. We are almost there. Anyways, what that'll look like is things like this. Obviously this is not running, not yet at least. But yeah, you get the idea. Oh yeah, one last thing I want to throw out there. Different services. So you saw cluster IPs for the internal cluster. You saw the load balancer. I wanted to show, let's see, let's show services real quick. Okay, so we saw both these. The ingress, cool, and then the ingress routes. I did not go over node port. Node port is exposing some type of service on one of these nodes. So you won't be able to SSH, in this case we're going to use SSH to a GET server, right? You won't be able to do that from every node. It'll just be the one you specify in your YAML file. So let's hurry and deploy this GET server. F. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna check our pods. Oh shit. That was fast. Pending. Okay. Container creating. Okay, cool. Well, service should be there. Sure is. So you can see, if we look at our nodes, let's go wide. You can see on master we have this port open. So what that'll look like once it's done deploying is we can SSH over to it. SSH. Let's use this one. Let's see. Do we have SSH open? Okay. Well, it's not up and running yet. Oh, it is. One second. There we go. Ooh, you know what? I wonder if I don't have my key in this file. I don't. Yep, I don't. So I'll have to fix that because my Docker image isn't... The way the pipelines work, I don't have that created for this image. But anyways, yeah. As you can see, we can SSH to it. Yeah, that's all I got. Anyways, yes, hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah.